Hello and welcome back to Ross Meets. Now this is a very kind of emotional towards the end interview for both involved, me and Ashley. Firstly, I have to apologise because this interview sounds a little bit like it was recorded underwater. I had a bit of a nightmare editing this. I will not lie to you. Yeah, Ashley's quite far away, so we recorded this, and I think it was the internet that kind of affected things, kind of messed things up a little bit. So we had a little bit of a nightmare with that, but it is a great interview nonetheless. And yeah, I've got my parametric equalizer and all my filters, and I've really tried my best to make it as clear as I can, and I've had to cut a few things out, which makes me very sad. So Ashley is probably going to listen back to this and be a little bit bamboozled, because she's going to be like, where's the stuff that I said? But I do feel really bad, but it still is such a great and lovely interview, honestly, and it is honestly one of my favourites, I won't lie, because, it's not every so often that you get an interview where the person on the other side is such a warm character. We've got energetic people, we've got people that are really buzzed to be there, and we've got people that are kind of more have a more calming presence and have a more laid back approach, and then you have people that are really warm and you just kind of want to give them a hug, you know what I mean, because they just give off such a lovely vibe. And Ashley's one of those people. She just gives off such a lovely warm vibe. Honestly, she was just the kindest, most sweetest person that I could ever have hoped to interview, and she was so open and honest about everything, which is something that I always look for. And she was just fabulous. She's just fabulous. She's still going, she's still kicking. She's having the time of her life. She was quite big in the late 80s. She had various singles going on there, and the early 90s too. She was slaying it in the early 90s, having the best time. And then, we're in the 2020s now, and she's literally still slaying. She's still absolutely, doing a bit. She's absolutely living a life, and it's just so good to see. We've got the new single, Bingo Baby, which she hit me with a bunch of times throughout the interview, and I was just, honestly, I had the biggest smile on my face, honestly. And yeah, it got a bit emotional at the end when she was talking about her son, when I asked her about her proudest moment. And I won't go into too much detail because obviously I want you to hear it from Ashley. But it was a very emotional moment, and it was one of those moments that, when it takes you aback. It took me aback. I felt very privileged to hear that from Ashley, and proud of her. It's weird, but I felt very, very proud and, happy for her. So happy. And it was funny, she asked me, she says, can you hear me? Are we still on? Because I was literally just looking at her just frozen time, because I was just so happy for her, with the biggest smile on my face like a Cheshire cat. And she must have thought I was a bit crazy, but I was just so happy. That is such a special moment in this interview, and she's a very special person. Honestly, she's a very fabulous talent. Anyone will tell you that. Anyone that's seen her perform live has, had the chance to work with her on the singles. She's got tons of remixes out, tons of DJs, working with her, remixers, fellow musicians, and yeah, she's honestly just slaying it at the minute, and it's just so good to see. And yeah, this is a great interview. I mean, you might have to really get your headphones on to hear it, but it honestly, it's one of my favourites. It really, really is. And I'm just really, really happy with how it came out. She was just so wonderful. And yeah, Bingo Baby is streaming now, so be sure to be checking it out. And I hope you enjoyed the interview, because she's brilliant. This is Ashley Paul.
Hello.
Hello!
How are you?
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's so nice to meet you.
Oh, it's so good to meet you as well, Ashley. Oh, thank you for joining me. Thank you for being
Thank
here.
you
I'm
for
so
having
excited.
me. Thank
I'm
you for
so
having
excited.
me.
Oh, you're so very welcome. Honestly, I've got a lot of questions. I'm just so excited. I've been so excited all week for this. It's been banging. But yeah,
Me too. Me too.
how is your day going? You okay?
Yeah, my day's going great. It's not quite as sunny as it usually is in California, but it's funny. It's like New York weather today here.
Yeah, it's
you
been
know?
very moody here in the UK. It hasn't been very nice today. It's been very cold and very
Is it
like
cold? I was gonna say,
cloudy.
is it cold? Is it
Oh
cold?
yeah, yeah. It's been very
Mm.
cloudy, very cold, a bit moody. But it's the nighttime now, so it's like completely black out there, which is really weird because it's getting dark early now. So it's like it's all moody. It's been a moody day.
I get like that seasonal affective disorder, being a being a very sensitive person, being an artist. And when it's like that, it's like, you have to put all the lights on and you have to walk around, you have to put on all the happy music.
Yeah, I feel yeah. Honestly, I feel yeah. Especially being a dance artist as well. Like that. Yeah, I completely relate. Like it's I don't know. It just gets a mood down sometimes. But yeah, I've been bopping to Ashley Paul music all day, so it's been okay. It hasn't been too bad at all.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying because when I'm writing, my whole message is to look towards positivity. It's to be inspired by potential greatness, by strength, by hope. Never to give up. You know that no matter how dark it can get, there's always like a teeny tiny little light.
Ashley, I love that. See, we're off to a great start already. I absolutely love that.
Thank you.
That is
Thank
brilliant.
you.
That's so lovely.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, I'm ready to get started. Are you feeling it?
Bingo, baby. Let's go.
Banging, banging. Okay, so starting in the 80s, right? Because you were really big in the 80s, well, towards late 80s, early 90s. You had some great hits there.
Thank you.
What made you want to get into music? What made you feel like the vibe?
When I was really little, like 9 and 10, I had been piano and I did theater, but I was so inspired by the ladies of the 70s. So disco, Diana Ross, Donna Summer, um, Melissa Manchester, Olivia Newton-John. I mean, I was just so inspired by, I felt that vibe, and it felt natural to me to sing those songs. And because, pardon me, I sing a lot of music, and I trained classically, so I could have gone into the opera world. So it was my vocals for my training, but it wasn't my passion. It's that freedom of my voice that just has vibrato, but it's my passion goes into my vocals, and it just comes out. And when I do that, I feel like I'm connecting with the audience, and I don't know, it felt right. And when I was 10, I had gotten a show, cast in a show that was about dance music and disco. And I went all over the East Coast, and I was the only little girl, and I sang on the song. This is so weird that I got that part. And they had me dressed up in red disco pants, and I feel like when I went on stage to do the summer songs, that was it. That was it. Like I just knew that's what I was. And then from there, I went on to do musical theater and things because that's kind of what was available to me, during that time. But when 1987 hit, and I met Joel Diamond, who recorded Gloria Gaynor, and he gave me one voice. That was it. And I always say it was a part of the Billboard chart because that's how I feel. It's like I went in to do Bleach Time, and like we sang it effortless. It was effortless to learn that song. And when something is that effortless, I feel like it's always natural. So yeah, so I did the song and it was like uploaded to the Billboard chart. That's how I would call
But yeah, I mean, that's such a great story, honestly. And the singles around that era
it.
are so fabulous and just so brilliant, so strong.
Thank
But
you.
the singles today are equally the same, for completely different reasons as well. I mean, it's kind of you've got a really kind of fresh sound, you're back with a fresh sound, and it's just been so good to see you back in action, with the same vibe. It's been so good for you over like the past couple of years, like with the singles that you've got. What's it like being back in the music industry? Is it a bit strange? Is it a bit weird? Does things feel like different or kind of like a bit of the same?
It's 1,000 times better because I feel like now that I'm writing and I'm singing what I'm writing, it's like I'm so entrenched in every aspect of the industry now that I feel like it's almost been pent up for a while, and now I'm able to just let it out and just go, and I don't want to stop.
And you
So
shouldn't. You shouldn't. Don't stop. Honestly.
no, by the grace of God, I'm going to keep going, you know? And that's really the best part about it is having an inspiration, feeling the vibe, having a story in my mind, and then seeing it and feeling the vibe. It's just incredible. Like everywhere I go, I find inspiration of a song to write. You know, like and then we record it, which is great too. And I love doing that. But being in the whole process now, it's like I just feel like I am where I'm supposed to be.
That's so
You
good.
know,
That
like
is so good to
that's
hear.
how I feel. Does that make sense?
Yeah, honestly, it does, and that is so so good to hear. I'm really glad you said that. And I'm so
Thank
glad that
you.
you're back writing and getting music out there. And I have to ask, because we've got When Boys Cry. That's all on vinyl and stuff like that. Do you prefer vinyl or streaming? Because obviously we've got like the streaming services now, and you're really having a great time with getting all the remixes on there, and it's just been brilliant to see. Do you prefer that? Which one is it?
You know, how can you not love vinyl? You know what I mean? It's like, it's classic, you know. And but I understand progress and technology and part of growth, you know. Other than the disco board, I like to call it, you know, when we're making the dance tracks, I'm not as good as with technology as a lot of other people are. You know, I write music and I perform and sing and I know how to work the disco board and you know. So, but I understand the streaming and the playlist thing and all that. And I think it's great that anybody can listen to my music anywhere. You know, like you can go on the internet, Google my songs, and it comes up. You know, you don't have to pay for it. So I think that aspect of it is amazing because I don't think, I know this is so against me ever making money, but I don't think we should have to pay for art. So the fact that somebody can go on Google and I can inspire them with my music for free is really important to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love that you've said that too. And everything's so much more accessible now. You can really, really
Right.
do some digging and find some stuff, which is really good. I saw that you were performing live in the Pepsi Center, I think it was, a few weeks back with When
Oh,
Boys Cry, and that looked like such a great event, and it looked like you were having like literally the best time. How was that for
oh,
you? And how is performing live?
oh, performing live is the best. And it was an incredible show. And the Pepsi arena is so big. And I always feel like before I get out on the stage, like I feel like I'm about to enter this magical place. Like it's like a world, you know? And people will say, do you get nervous? And I'm like, what when you're in front of all those people? And it's the opposite, you know? It's like I feel like I'm home. 10,000 people that I can like smile at and engage and make feel good and laugh with and it's such a gift. It's
Yeah.
really a gift. So and then you hope they like your music, of course. But I don't think about I here's growth for me as an artist and a person, if I may. It's a little deep. I used to go on stage years ago and I was always so nervous that every note had to be perfect because I'm a classically trained singer and I'm a perfectionist. There's no doubt about it. But I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I think now I've grown so much that I know when I go out there, it's not about perfect note or a perfect, hair out of place. It's about a warmth and an invitation, to connect and to sing my music, play my music, and I hope that it inspires them. I hope it makes them feel good. And they're looking at me for that. They're not looking at my imperfections or looking for them. That would only be in my head. And I've learned so much about myself and through my live performance journey over the past, I guess, 15 years, because now when I go out, I just can't wait to get out there and engage with the audience. And I'm much more open and I'm much more I don't know. I'm I'm less self-critical, like of my shows. When you go on that stage, you gotta shine your light, and that's what it's about, you know. So
Exactly. And you looked and sounded so, so brilliant. I was watching it, I was literally in awe. I was like, oh my God, she's absolutely slaying it. She's
thank you
absolutely
so much.
slay.
Thank you
No,
so much.
honestly, you were. I was so proud. I was like, she's literally killing it. Like, this is so, so good. And I
Thank
mean,
you.
you mentioned your relationship with the audience and your fans and your listeners. You've got such a strong following going on over social media as well. We briefly mentioned a little bit earlier with like the technology and the changes to the industry, but you've also got like a great relationship with collaborators and your remixers and the people that are like interpreting your art and you know, and continuing to grow it, and that is so good. I mean, it's so good for like a dance artist to be able to, you know, put that out there and then have all the collaborations and feature smaller DJs, bigger DJs, all kinds of other collaborators and different artists. And I think that's something that you do and have done for your pretty much your whole career so, so brilliantly. I absolutely love like remix culture and DJ culture. I absolutely love it. I'm a massive Madonna fan, so when I saw Shep Pettibone and everything, I was like, oh my God, I loved it.
It's he was is brilliant. Yeah, he's brilliant too. I mean, that whole that those are my people, and that's my world, and I feel so blessed that I'm like so deep into it now. You know, in every aspect that I can sit at the disco board. You know, say let's put this note here. Let's. I mean, I feel like it's my calling. You know, like it's not even an ambition; it's a calling. That makes any sense.
Yeah, perfect sense. And we've got Bingo Baby, which is your newest single, which is absolutely brilliant. Such a great track. And we've got all the remixes that go along with that as well. And it's just made me so happy to see. I'm like, I'm just so glad that you're carrying on that and carrying on that relationship with your like collaborators, remixers. I just absolutely love it. And the song is so brilliant. What are the inspirations going behind that nowadays? How did that feel to get it out there?
It was so crazy because that day we all went to lunch. We went to lunch and we were getting to know each other, which was really nice. And you know, Ritchie Neville is such a talent. He's such an incredible singer. And I had no idea what an amazing songwriter he was, but I was so excited to write with him. And Liam is such an incredible producer, you know, with dance tracks. And so it was just such a privilege for me. And so I'm so excited. So we were just getting to know each other and talking, and we had such a great chemistry, all of us, talking about our careers and our starts in music in different ways. And I think what happened was Richie was telling us a really cute story about bingo bongo. And I heard the word bingo, and I kept fixating on bingo. I shouted out, bingo, baby. And everybody like in the restaurant, when people could hear me, they were like looking at me, and I'm like, sorry, you know, it's like I'm an artist, wherever, whenever. I can't help myself, you know. And the guys looked at me and they're like, that's the song. And I'm like, oh my God, bingo baby. Like it's now like an entire world. It's a story, it's a couple, it's a sound. Like in 2 seconds, it's like back to me in studio. We were in Liverpool. We're in Liverpool. And I had never been to Liverpool before, by the way. It was so beautiful. So much culture in it. It felt like it lent itself to the story about being like, you know, being in the spotlight and all these different things. And I mean, if you ask Richie, he will tell you the song practically wrote itself. I mean, it was just so magical. Like we said like a few things and we talked about Bingo Baby and the ideas and it just flew. It was effortless. You know, it was like this whole very sexy, musical, kind of, you know, joyful, fun, funky day, which kind of emulated the chemistry at once because we were all getting along so well and it was very natural. The inspiration for the song was almost like the relationship that we formed that day, in a way, you know. And then of course I wouldn't be authentic if I didn't say there was a flirtation in the song because let's just say Ritchie Neville is easy on the eyes. So I was definitely checking that out. And so, but it was professional. But you know, it's good to have that kind of chemistry when you're working because it comes into the work and it makes the
Definitely.
work even better. You know, so yeah, so that totally inspired me. And what's interesting is when we were sick, and we wrote it in like under almost an hour. Okay, and then when we were finished, I got on the train to go back from Liverpool back to London because I was leaving the next day for the States. I turned to Jason and my man was like, what just happened? I was like, I can't believe it. Like dream. It was like a fantasy. The whole, like from beginning to end, from meeting them at the train station to lunch to the studio. We wrote this incredibly crazy fun thing, had left, and we're like back to like things are just kind of normal. What just happened? And I was just, it was like a blur because it was that good. Like the creativity was so flowing.
Actually, I love that so much. That is such a great story, and it's such a great single. Honestly, it is brilliant,
Thank you.
and it's such a great return to form for you, and so have the other singles that you've been releasing over the past couple of years. Honestly, it's
Thank
been
you.
so good to have you back, making music, back in the scene. I know your time is very, very precious, but I just want to ask you one last question, and it's probably
Yes,
the most
please.
difficult question of the lot, but I love it,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
gonna be great for you.
Okay.
What would you
Okay.
say
Ah,
is your proudest moment so far?
uh,
It's very tough.
in my musical career.
It could be anything. Personally, anything. Yeah, career-wise, absolutely anything. I mean, it's tough
Well,
because you've achieved so much and you've done so much. And yeah, it's hard to, pinpoint one
I
thing,
you
but
have it, and this is my total life, not just my music.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh well, my proudest moment would have to be when when I met my little boy. I have a little boy. So and he would kill me if I said his name, but um yeah, and I'm gonna tell you his name anyway. His name's Winston. And that was, definitely in terms of inspiration, I tried for really many years to to have a child, and I always wanted to have one child. And I being I was like it's like a moment in time. I never wanted that. And then in one moment I just said, I really want that. And then I tried and it wasn't that easy. But it took me a lot of years and it was definitely worth every challenge. So I know that's pretty heavy, but that it's the kind of love that I can't even explain.
Oh,
You
Ashley,
know?
that has literally warmed my heart so much. Thank you so much for that. And just thank you so much for being so wonderful and just so brilliant. I mean, you've got
Thank
so
you.
much to be proud of, honestly. So, so much.
Thank you.
But yeah, that is brilliant. That has warmed my heart so much, and I absolutely love that. And I love that for you, and I love that. I just love it. That is so brilliant to hear. And just thank you so much for just being so open, honest, and insightful. And it's just been so wonderful talking to you. I know your time is so precious, but I'm
For
so
you,
grateful
for
for the
me too.
opportunity,
Thank you for
honestly.
having me. I'm very grateful.
But yeah, you've been fab, and everything you're doing is fab. I'm so happy,
Thank
and I'm just so excited for you to keep on
you for
going
listening.
and
I
keep
will. I
saying
keep
it.
going.
But
I keep
yeah,
going. I can't stop.